This is fine. 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 This is a poor substitute for therapy, but an excellent substitute for other podcasts.
We're not like other podcasts.
Join us as we find the answers to the universe's biggest questions like, is butter a carb? Does crying burn calories? And what the fuck am I doing with my life? We're here to be your part-time therapist, astrologer, concierge doctor, and fairy godmother. Do you need someone to validate you today? Cool. Come on in. We're fine. This is fine. Welcome back, you guys. Bienvenue. Thank you for joining us today. This is our first official episode recorded from Paris. Today, it's just me, and I'm here to update you on the adventure abroad, tell you what's been going on, and answer your questions. It's been a wonderful few months since I've last checked in with y'all, and I can't wait to get you up to speed. In brief, as my friend Morgan has said, I'm walking the Emily in Paris Yellow Brick Road, which was changed to the Emily in Paris Golden Brick Road, TM, patent pending, after a fiasco with my phone getting stolen on the metro. We'll get to that. So just to bring you up to speed and recap my journey so far. In January of this year, I saw a video with Morgan Heiser and Amanda Rollins, that's Bisou Morgan, an American fille, on my TikTok For You page. I thought they were hilarious. I invited them to be on this very podcast, and before I knew it, they were convincing me to move to Paris. It didn't take a lot of convincing, to be honest. In June, I spent 2 weeks on Amanda's couch, whereupon she set up my French phone number, my French bank account, and helped me with my apartment search. Somehow, by the grace of the Lord himself and all the stars above, I manifested an apartment in a central arrondissement with a huge yard. The apartment itself is tiny and not at all what I envisioned in terms of architecture or size or layout, but the garden is insane, so priceless, so invaluable, and it has become Stella's home here in Paris. I signed my lease toward the end of June. I had my lease appointment in French and everything. I felt so cool. And in those 2 weeks, I also got to meet Amanda's and now my attorney, Daniel Tostado. If you're thinking about moving to France, he is your guy, and he's a San Diegan, so we love that. I'll add his info in the description for you. I also got to meet so many new friends thanks to Amanda and Morgan. We will talk about that soon, but I really feel like I got to put down some roots. So in July, I returned to California. I got Stella, I got the rest of my suitcases, and we flew back to Paris to move into my new apartment. My mom came with me to help me get set up, which was so wonderful. Thank you, Mama. The past few months have been such a whirlwind. Picnics and bar crawls, cafes and raclette nights. I went to an exposition with Chanel at the Gertrude Stein Pablo Picasso exhibit at the Musée de Luxembourg. I tasted champagne in Champagne, visited Mont Saint-Michel, walked Stella up and down the Seine into the dog park in the Marais. I tried escargot, found new hairstylists and manicurists and facialists, made a lot of embarrassing mistakes in French, but also learned a lot of new vocab. I had a birthday party, got a Versailles pass, went to Portugal and Rome, saw the Moulin Rouge twice, saw some ballet at the Palais Garnier Opera, drank wine out of a baby bottle, long story, had lots of apéro and planche mixte, took Stella to Chanel and Bertillon, and started assembling a real winter wardrobe for the first time. I also locked myself out of my apartment and then got my phone stolen right out of my hands on the Metro Line 1, but miraculously got my phone back from a police station in the banlieue south of Paris in an event that Amanda and I refer to as Justice Christmas. The full story is on TikTok. I will obviously link to that as well. A lot has happened, and it has been absolutely incredibly magical. The Emily in Paris Yellow Brick Road is paved with golden diamonds, that is for sure. So that's a pretty truncated rundown without a lot of details. I wasn't sure what you all wanted to hear about, so I opened this up to some questions from the audience. Let's just get into those now. These are all anonymous for, well, some of these will be obvious reasons. How are you dealing with winter sads, the weather changes, and the sunrise and sunset changes? I don't have the winter sads yet, thank goodness. It's only November. But I strategically moved in the summer so I'd have some time to acclimate before winter came. But it is starting now, and honestly, it's a huge adjustment. I don't really know yet, and I will update you as time goes on. Paris is significantly further from the equator than San Diego, obviously, so the changes in daylight are more extreme, and this is the first time I'll experience a real winter. I've already bought coats and scarves and boots, and I am bracing myself like I'm on an episode of Game of Thrones. When are you coming back? Maybe never? I don't know. Next question. Do you work with American companies, and how do you work in a different time zone? So, my company slash sole proprietorship is Dominique Media. I'm the founder, CEO, account manager, writer, publicist, host, producer, etc. It's headquartered in the US and continues to be that way. And technically, I am remote working, télétravail, here in France. Legally, it has to stay that way as to not violate the terms of my visa. As for the time zone, I honestly haven't fully figured this out yet, but I am not trying to be so hard on myself to get my shit all the way together until maybe early next year. For now, I am just doing what I can to acclimate to a new country and culture and life. That ended up actually being more of an undertaking than previously imagined, so that's where we're at with that. How can I be a dumb bitch like you, my cutie pie? What a great question. I would say allow someone on TikTok who you've never met in person to persuade you to move to a new country. Rewatch Gossip Girl and rom-coms and Christmas movies as much as possible. Have a whole milk cappuccino and croissant every day. Burn a diptyque candle while you work, preferably the narguilé scent in the cold months, or 34. Wear pink, learn astrology, and develop an obsession with reformer Pilates. Make being a golden retriever mom 42% of your personality, and the rest of your personality is Paris. Do Duolingo in inappropriate settings, including at bars and clubs. Over-identify with your Libra moon if you have one. Cry when you encounter even the most minor of inconveniences, but rely heavily on ironclad, unrelenting optimism and hope. I hope that helps. Do you miss me? Does Stella miss me? Got this question a few times in different iterations. Totally valid. The answer is yes. Both of us miss you all quite a bit. I am so grateful for my friends who have come to visit so far. It has been so comforting for both of us to have you here and such a joy to show you around our new home. Why are your friends so cool? Excellent question. I got so lucky, you guys. If you heard the Real Emily's in Paris episode, you have already become acquainted with Amanda and Morgan. They told me at the end of that call right after we recorded that they would introduce me to all of their friends, and they were actually serious. They meant it. They followed through. And because of them, I was able to essentially airdrop myself into an incredible group. This has been the most wonderful blessing, hands down. Stella has so many new people who love her. I have so many plans and activities every single week, and I feel like I've known these people for years. They are so, so, so wonderful, so amazing, and I just can't say enough good things. And as to why they're so cool, just lucky, I guess. Favorite places to eat so far? Favorite new restaurant or thing you've experienced in Paris? Also got a few iterations of this question. Thank you. Love this one. And I especially love these questions because I love eating. To be honest, I love getting a daily croissant at the boulangerie across the street. I had a phenomenal meal at Astaire in the 2nd arrondissement and at Lulu in Montmartre. Love both of those restaurants. I also loved brunch at La Maison Rose. I know this is a bit of a touristy spot, but the food was actually so delicious, unexpectedly so. I would 1000% recommend, and I will be going back there myself. Another surprise hit has been the coffee and croissants at Pierre Hermé. There's a cafe near my house where Stella has become a local celebrity, of course, and I've been getting the Ispahan croissant, trying with my little accent here. That is a rose raspberry lychee stuffed croissant, and absolutely out of this world, so phenomenal. I get them a little bit too often, maybe. What are some interesting things to do besides the usual tourist stuff? This is a tough one for me to answer because I love tourist stuff. I think touristy things are popular for a reason. I love getting cozy at a cafe for hours, strolling around the Seine and the gardens here. I love shopping, obviously, seeing the monuments. Just existing here is actually my favorite activity. Walking around, getting lost, soaking up the atmosphere. The vibes are right. Recently, I did a perfume making class with Amanda at ABC du Parfum. I can link to that in the description. I love anything where you can take a class or learn something new. I also bought a year pass to Versailles, the palace and the gardens, because I actually love walking in the gardens. It's so stunning. Another activity suggestion, the girls hosted a birthday party for me at Bar à Bulles I hope I'm saying that right. It's the rooftop of Moulin Rouge, and that was so cool getting to be behind the big red windmill. Oh my gosh, love the vibes there. La raclette, plat du siècle. Parce que cette question était demandée en français, je vais faire de mon mieux pour répondre en français maintenant. Je peux traduire pour les anglophones à la fin. Du coup, merci pour ta question. Et oui, évidemment, je suis complètement d'accord avec ce sentiment. Je trouve que la raclette est absolument sublime, vraiment le plat de mes rêves et le plat du siècle. Je peux pas comprendre comment je vivais 30 ans sans ce plat. C'est l'un de mes trucs préférés que j'ai découvert dès que j'ai déménagé à Paris. For the English speakers, the question was, do I think raclette is the dish or meal of the century? And the answer is a resounding yes. It is one of my favorite things that I have discovered since moving to Paris. If you've never had it, it is a group activity / meal. Honestly, any kind of meal that is a group activity, I'm all for it. It involves melting cheese and draping it over potatoes and charcuterie. Charcuterie. I sound dumb no matter which way I pronounce it now. And it comes with a side of cornichons. There's a little machine mechanism that you melt the cheese in, then you scrape it. It's absolutely fabulous. Is your hot friend Morgan single? Because she's so hot. Yes, Morgan is single. Expectation versus reality. What is Paris actually like versus what you thought it would be like? This is maybe going to be a super annoying answer, but it is very much exactly what I fantasized about. I have visited Paris several times before moving, so I had a general gist of things, and I don't think I had unrealistic expectations. I know it's a city on planet Earth and not a utopia, but I also tend to look at things in general through more rose colored glasses, so my POV might skew more positive than average, but in general, I am very, very happy. What do you miss most about California? California burritos, obviously. And then my people, my family, my friends, my biological family, buffalo sauce and Whole Foods. Also, things being on autopilot. And what I mean when I say that, certain things are on autopilot in your home country, hometown, whatever it is, that you aren't even aware of because they're so ingrained in you. They are so natural. They are so in the back of your mind. You are not even cognizant. They've been on autopilot for so long that you don't even notice. Like when you meet someone new, you may stick your hand out for a handshake if you're American. I did that here, and the person was like, what the fuck? They didn't actually say that, but I kind of freaked them out a little bit. You do la bise here, which is like the cheek touching faux kissing. At home, so much was on autopilot, like just shaking a hand when you meet someone, or where you buy specific items or get specific groceries or coffee, how to speak to people or ask for things, or where to take Stella to the vet or pick up a prescription, how to get to certain places when certain places are open. It all has to be relearned here with a new language and a new culture, a new climate on top of it all. So I guess I miss the ease of autopilot, but I still very much enjoy getting the newness of everything here. It is a bit mentally fatiguing, though, I will say that. Have you had any homesickness and how do you deal / soothe? In certain ways, maybe, but this might sound terrible. Not really. I think I am still high on Paris and in the honeymoon phase, and it hasn't hit like extreme winter yet, so I'll get back to you in a month or so. Sometimes when people move, they are trying to escape their problems. Now that you're settled, do you feel that adage, quote, wherever you go, there you are, end quote? Fortunately, I wasn't moving to escape anything, so I think I'm coming from a kind of positive and fresh place, and that has helped me, at least from that vantage point. I will say my health has been a bit better here, not like I'm miraculously healed from everything, but better. And I'm much more relaxed here. Again, this could be because I'm still super high on Paris and the magic of this place, but it feels really, really good here. Just life in general feels good. Problems are still problems, obviously, but things in general are really nice. Without getting too personal and into my private life, I will say that things that were missing from my life in California are suddenly abundant here. What's the funniest language barrier mishap you've had? There have been a few, and I'm struggling to remember really funny specific ones. I'm so sorry. I was trying to explain the concept of American sororities and fraternities to a man who did not speak English. That was a fun time. I also didn't realize that I was pronouncing the word for country incorrectly. The word is spelled Pays, which, if you're just looking at it and you're learning French, you think it should be pronounced pay. But it's actually pays for reasons that are still unclear to me. And apparently, someone told me I was saying pay repeatedly, which is a bad word. They wouldn't tell me what it was, but I kept repeating this bad word. If you know what it is, please let me know. Have you seen any fun fashion trends in Paris? Oh my gosh, yes, I was here for my first fashion week. In general, I haven't been paying a ton of attention, but the things that I do notice, trousers and like very long floor length or maybe even longer, baggier, wider pants, wider leg jeans, ballet flats, obviously, those are huge. They have been for a while. The color red, whether it's a red accent, like a shoe, purse, hair bow, a red coat, sweater, scarf, red is huge. Super tall boots, those are cool again. Speaking of, I've seen a ton of French girls in platform Uggs, like the really like micro ankle length ones, but they have the platform sole, often styled with a trouser pant. Really interesting. I did not think that Uggs would be cool in Paris. All right, I feel like I've been talking for a long time now, so I'm going to sign off. Before I do, I want to say a massive thank you to my friends here, Amanda, Morgan, Alexandra, Trish, Jamie, Mona, and Caitlin, who have adopted me into their little friend group and made me feel like family. Another thank you to the rest of my Parisian friends here. You know who you are. You have made me feel so special, and I have enjoyed every second. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you to everyone who submitted questions. I so appreciate your engagement with this podcast and this community. This is Fine loves you. I am so grateful for you. I cherish you. Un grand merci à mes auditeurs français. Je souhaite que cet épisode vous ait plu. J'essaierai de parler un peu plus en français aussi, mais évidemment, j'ai encore beaucoup de choses à apprendre. Bref, voilà. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I love you so much. Je vous aime. À bientôt. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of This Is Fine. I've been your host, Dominique Michelle Astorino. We're based in San Diego, recording in studio at DLI Productions in Paris, Pacific Beach, with Emmy Award-winning sound designer Dan De La Isla. This is a comedy and advice podcast, but for legal reasons, this entire podcast is a joke and none of it is medical advice. To download the transcript or learn more, visit thisisfinepodcast.com.